So I'd like to toss out some questions now and do a little discussion, and to sort of get a feel for how we feel, about the
feelings again.
The episodes so far, and one of them is, how do we feel about Sergeant Hatred so far?
Am I supposed to answer that?
Yeah.
Well,
tell me how I feel.
You feel that Sergeant Hatred is still kind of creepy creepster with his, pedestrian ways. However, he's kind of warming up. He's kind of got a comfy, cozy little spot in your heart. Because you're like, he cares and he means well. Things don't always turn out so well. But, I don't know. I feel like you feel for him a little bit. You're kind of rooting for him. You wish he wasn't such a perv. And other things.
I'm not sure if I care if he ever shows up again.
Exactly what I said.
What you said.
Right.
Although I am kind of excited about the Billy. Is that weird? The Billy and him.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what White does. Is he gonna throw a fit? I'm so excited. It's like Melrose Place.
Nice reference.
Thanks.
Melrose Place, really?
Of pedophilia. Pedestrianism.
I loved when he was describing the birds and the bees to Hank, which, by the way, he was like, yeah, 2 years ago. It's like, really? And then he was like, sometimes birds like eggs, and there's, egg watchers who want to look after the eggs.
And they're very fragile.
I was like, greatest metaphor ever.
It was a pretty amazing metaphor. I think I'm going to use it if an ever, intense and important conversation comes up.
About pedophilia?
Pedestrianism. Mm-hmm. So, what the flip is happening with the Black Hearts and Brock being super absent? I miss him.
Me too.
I miss having a character that knows what the what is.
I miss having a badass, mostly. Also, Brock and his shaven head.
He has a mullet again now.
I know.
And, what's happening with the Black Hearts? Do you think, the second half, 4.2, is going to be all about the Black Hearts and Brock?
Yeah.
Well, that settles it.
Yeah.
Because it's nice to have, a contrast between all the failures and Brock.
The weenies and the badasses. That's how I like to think of it.
There's only, 2.
And they're all weenies.
And all the badasses.
And then there's Brock.
Are on this side with the Black Hearts, and they're all...
Molotov.
They're having a different storyline completely.
Yeah. I feel like Dr. Girlfriend's kind of a badass, too.
So I feel like another question I have, which is less of a question, more of a statement of my feelings, is that I feel like I'm being manipulated to like Hank a lot more than I would normally. And I feel like they're putting so much effort for it to make Hank super likable with, the hair and the attitude and,
Well, I think part of it is that, he's almost, he's obviously being, the defensive teenager, but he's also super vulnerable right now. And it's I miss Brock, and, I really don't have any guidance in my life right now, and I kind of needed a male figurehead. And he's kind of searching for all of that, and, you're supposed to be oh, it's kind of the...
I am, though. And
I want to take care of you.
I don't like it because I'm totally falling for it. I feel like they didn't like that Hank was so unpopular.
Yeah.
And so now he's getting all this all this play and all this, great character development, whereas Dean is kind of stuck.
Well, I kind of liked Hank before, because to me, Hank was, he was, super nerdy, and, he wanted to be, the manly one, but he totally wasn't at all. His Batman obsession...
It's still there, though.
I always found it really endearing, even before, now, where they are now, seasons ago.
I'm so Batman.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He thinks he's such a badass, but he's such a weenie.
But he's still, I don't know. But I'm even more concerned now that we were right, that the kiss is not going to be between Dean and Triana, but Hank and Triana. Melrose Place!
Again!
So, a bonus was that Jackson updated his blog.
It's really exciting when that happens. It doesn't happen often, so.
This was very exciting. And he gave us 2 important tidbits, and one of them is that Patrick Warburton, which is the voice of Brock, is not taking a break. He just it's part of the storyline.
Yeah.
For Aurelio.
He's not asking for more money or on hiatus or anything. There was no argument or anything. I guess there's a lot of, like, rumors going around in the blog world and on message boards and live journals.
Makes me feel kind of, like, silly and innocent because it never occurred to me that
not
would be
at
the
all.
case at all.
Like, it's totally intentional.
I totally trusted, like, I was like, this is totally part of the plot. And I still think that. It just never occurred to me. Also, I thought this was very interesting. He decided to point out specifically that Captain Sunshine is not
a pedophile.
Why would he do that?
Can I just tell you something?
Yes.
When I read that, I'm like, he watched our podcast.
Why?
I don't know.
I mean,
because we talked about it.
Right? Yes, just us, not everybody else.
Clearly he watched it.
Right, sure. I just
dash my dream.
Sorry. So I just thought it was kind of interesting that Jackson decided to say that specifically, which makes me think he's not going to be a one-shot character, that Captain Sunshine is actually going to be back and play a more important role. So
yeah, I agree.
Why don't you talk about the super excitingness?
Well, Jackson Publick also made a little note at the very end that said that there's new merchandise on the Adult Swim shop. And it is amazing, and there's so much good stuff. Oh my gosh. And we spent a good 20 minutes checking it out.
You should check it out just because, even though, like, a lot of it's getting sold out pretty fast.
Yeah, the Monarch shirt is already sold out, which
disaster.
I can't say that I'm surprised, but I am disappointed.
Well, to read the clips that go along with the merchandise is completely worth it.
Totally worth it.
Completely worth it.
And in fact, my favorite description is of the Monarch shirt. So if you go, check it out. I mean, I don't know the whole description.
My favorite is the spoiler. Scarier than the actual Monarch.
Yeah, and I was like, and I also like the more dangerous than the Hanker Dean shirts.
So you should check it out. There's some really cool buttons and a Monarch notepad thing.
It's actually more of a journal.
Journal?
I believe it's for the writing of feelings.
And I'm kind of super excited about that. But we also watched the teaser for next week's episode, which is
self-medication.
Excellent. And
so excited.
The Monarch is in it!
He's back!
And other stuff happens.
Oh, right. I don't even care. The Monarch.
First of all, this is how the show's gotten. Fincher episode. Monarch! Other crap happens. Monarch! Other crap happens. Monarch! I love it.
I'm liking how things are panning out.
Officially a fan. So...
Because you weren't before.
So, in the meantime, please email us your questions and comments and thoughts and feelings at
veryventurevodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you. So, have a great week and happy venturing. Bye.
Bye.